Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy Herc once again, and we're here back with another episode of the Come On Man podcast, episode 1, season 3. Oh man, you the main event now.
I'm leading off.
You're definitely leading off. Welcome to season 3 of the Come On Man podcast, and I appreciate you for coming on.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. I got a special guest. My main man's Paul. His traits are he's a coach, an educator, a mentor, athlete. Y'all can't say.
He's definitely not athletic anymore. He used to be.
He's an athlete. He's a married man. Happily married.
Yes.
And he's on the Come On Man podcast. Welcome, Paul.
Thank you for having me. I was shocked. I mean, just met each other in the gym the other day. You're like, you seem like someone I want to talk to. You want to come on my podcast? I was like, sure.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I basically have to do self-promoting.
Mm-hmm.
Each person I talk to, I have to basically, if we have a good conversation like how we did, you were like, I think we met over spotting somebody.
Yep.
And then you kind of went over like, hey man, what you deadlifting? I'm just deadlifting just for fun. You're like, what? I was like, and you just like, man, I'm barely making it, man. I got duct tape on me and everything. I was just like, no, man. But we had a good bond, and I was like, man, let me see this guy. I didn't know your name.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see what he's gonna say. I'm like, hey, you want to be on the? Yeah, man. Yeah. Sure. I was like, okay. I was like, oh.
Listen, conversations for me are the number one thing that light my fire. So like anytime I can get on and have a conversation with somebody, having any sort of meaningful connection with somebody,
mm-hmm.
it's totally worth it. I think social media has brought us to a point where we don't necessarily value that in-person connection as much.
Yeah.
So to sit down and when's the other opportunity other than a podcast, you get to sit across from someone, learn about them, and not have your phones, not have any distractions. We're just sitting here in your dining room.
All right.
We're just going to get to know each other over an hour. And that's a connection. Who knows? Maybe 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line, there's an opportunity for us to help one another or, whatever it might be. That's a connection that you can value for the rest of your life.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true, man. I think that face-to-face interaction is gone and thrown out the window. Like, people don't even know how to talk to people like face to face because they just look at you and you look at them and like, what do I say? I don't know, but I try to keep that strong as much as possible because I know we're like there. I'm a 90s baby, so I try to keep that strong as much as possible, and then try to instill that in my son. And like, hey, you need to talk to people. You need to look them in the eye. You need to get off your phone and things like that. He don't understand right now like why he needs to do that, but he needs to know like you need to be self-aware of what's going on, and you need to be a human. If that makes sense.
It totally makes sense, and I think passing those types of lessons on to the younger generation.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't imagine growing up with the pressures that the kids are growing up with now. Not when I went to school, we didn't have phones.
No,
I mean, I'm born in 87, so I'll be 37 this year.
Dang.
And
okay.
Well, thanks, man.
Oh, my bad. No, I didn't mean it like that. I'm shit. I feel like I'm 40 right now, but I'm only 33. But that's powerlifting and body. But continue.
So I mean, we didn't have phones. When I left school, I didn't have to deal with bullying. I didn't have to deal with being, present with anyone other than my family, my little brother.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I was bullied at school, which I was when I was growing up, I'd have to be bullied when I'm at home. Anytime I look at my phone, people can connect with me. You have to have followers and your status and all this sort of stuff. It's a lot of pressure that I don't think I could personally relate to, because now that I have those pressures on me, I have the coping strategies to deal with them. I'm an adult.
Okay.
But if I was a kid, I don't know how I would deal. So I think teaching your son those lessons, that's going to be something that he takes with him for the rest of his life. And it's going to help him navigate the world.
Yeah.
Because I was in a position prior in my previous career where I had to hire people. And the number of people where I interviewed them and they had no idea how to communicate, no idea how to look people in the eye, no idea how to form a relationship.
Right.
Simply because they were so detached from it.
Dang.
Through social media, through the internet, through whatever. It's a real thing.
Yeah, I totally agree as well. I just say social media is horrible. It can be helpful, but it can be horrible at the same time.
It's a gift and a curse.
Yeah, you perfectly said it. It can be a curse or it can be a blessing, but it all depends how the uses it in a way. Because some people, they're using it for their businesses, and other people try to use it for status. Like, hey, I need validation. Hey, like me, and it's like, oh man. And then they're all jacked up, and then they get in the real world, and if somebody doesn't like them for something, then they are all thrown off because that one person doesn't like them.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't think I would have that's a lie. I was going to say I wouldn't have the business I had if I didn't have social media, but I had a business before social media, so it's not a big deal. But I can say that my business has grown significantly because of how we use social media, and I choose to use it as a tool.
Okay.
If I didn't have a business that operated in the online space, I wouldn't have social media. I have no need for it. But then again, I met my wife over social media. I currently build my business and promote my business over social media. So it's been very useful for me. Yeah. But I don't wrap any of my self-worth into my follower count or my likes or my shares or any of that stuff. Right. It's just a means to an end. Yeah. I think I went the same route too. I was kind of like binging on social media. Like, I got to get the algorithm up and do this and do that, cause I do YouTube and things like that. But man, that's a real stressor in real time. And at the same time, it just it doesn't make, my mom's sewing. It's a big headache to worry about the numbers and validation and all the other stuff. And I feel like how you said it just, if you just release those things and don't worry about them and just keep doing what you're doing, none of that stuff really matters. I kind of do the same thing with the podcast. I give people 2 chances to come on the podcast, and people are like, oh man, no, they treat me like the feds for some reason, like I'm like I'm the cops. I'm like, no, man, it's a free platform for men to talk or whatever they want to talk about. Yeah. They can talk about stress, sports, etc. But I don't know, for some reason men are like too scared to. I'm gonna say it. They're too nervous or they're too scared because they got to watch what they say because somebody gonna be hearing them or whatever. But that's besides the point. It's just kind of like it's the social media life is just it's a stressor, and if you just forget about the numbers and the numbers game and the algorithm and just do your thing with all your ability and and you love what you do, I think that's the most important thing. And the other stuff will take care of itself.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. I met my wife on Bumble and shit.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I met her on Bumble, same thing, and I thought she was gonna be somebody different, and she was like a real person because you know how the dating apps are. And we met each other, and everything was good. And we dated, and now we're married.
How long have you guys been married?
For 2 years.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, man. That's a blessing. It's a blessing. We got married on January 1st.
Oh, nice.
New Year's Day.
Love
Day.
That. Starting fresh.
Yeah, so she was like, "Oh my God, it's like everybody celebrated our anniversary." I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. I like it.
Plus, you'll never forget.
No, I definitely won't forget. No, oh man, I didn't even hit you with a banger question.
Yeah, man, hit me.
Your banger question is: What inspired you to pursue your current career and passion?
Oof, I think this is the 3rd or 4th iteration of my passion, I guess you would say. So I started off playing sports.
Okay.
I played basketball in high school. I know that might sound funny because I'm a 5'10" white guy who weighs 250 pounds, but
hold on, did you have a 3-point jumper in basketball?
That's all I had.
What?
I would just run 3-point line to 3-point line
and just shoot it.
Just jack them up.
Man, okay, so you was kind of like a little Steph Curry out there.
More like Steve Nash. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about Steve, man. My boy Steve Nash, man.
He's one of the all-time greats.
Classic.
Canadian, Santa Clara University.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in between high school and college, I really wanted to play in college. I got recruited a little bit to play in Canada, but physically I just wasn't there.
Right.
Grew up as an overweight kid, was still overweight. I was like, okay, well, I got to make a change. So I started training, and I lost 60 pounds between high school and university. So in 2 months, I lost 60 pounds, gained a ton of athleticism.
Okay.
I played as a red shirt my freshman year.
Okay.
And our university won the top 2 in the nation. So I knew I was never going to play.
Wow.
Decided I was, I wasn't enjoying it as much. The freedom of the college game wasn't the type of game that I like to play.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to play football. I knew I needed to be bigger.
Okay.
So I started lifting a lot more. Realized that I'm pretty good at lifting. I played 2 seasons, had a knee surgery, and it was during my recovery from the knee surgery where I fell in love with high performance training.
Okay.
So I started personal training, started working with some of our college athletes at the school.
Mm-hmm.
Once I graduated, I was like, I want to be a college strength coach. Looked up who won college strength coach of the year, and turned out to be a gentleman named Ron McKeefery at the University of South Florida.
Damn.
So I emailed him and his assistant. I said, I want to come work for you guys.
You just straight up just told him, hey, I want to come work for y'all.
I'm going to come work for you for free.
What? Oh, hold on, wait. You hold on. You went up to his establishment. And you were like, hey, I want to work for you for free.
I emailed him first because I knew they had an internship program.
Okay.
And I said, I want to come work for you.
Okay.
I want to be a strength coach. They said, sure, we don't pay. So you're going to have to be here on your own dollar. And you can do an internship with us. I said, sure. So packed up all my stuff into my car when I was, in 2010.
Okay.
And I left. I drove to Florida, did a 4-month internship with them. During that time, I applied for my master's degree at that school, got accepted. Wow. Did another semester of internship in a more like senior role.
Right.
Got a couple of my own teams to really like sink my teeth into.
Okay.
And ended up getting a full-time job in Pittsburgh at Robert Morris University.
Come on.
So I left that master's degree early, started a new one at Robert Morris. Was there for 2 years while I did that master's degree as a graduate assistant.
Yeah.
Because it was a smaller school, I was the assistant coach. So I had 5 teams to myself, was an assistant on the rest of the teams. And once I graduated from there, I was very fortunate that one of my friends from South Florida was now the head strength coach at the University of Tampa. So he hired me to be his associate head coach. So I was able to work there for 8 months while I finished my other master's degree. So at this point, 2 master's degrees in, I've worked at 3 different schools, and I got a full-time job, my dream job, head strength and conditioning coach at Queen's University in Kingston, Ontario, which Queen's University is like the Harvard of Canada.
Right.
I had 15 teams, 500 student athletes. I had 50 interns, and I was teaching a class.
Wow.
Dream job. I love teaching. I love helping. And after about 8 months, severe burnout. They wanted me to do way more than what they were paying me for. I was getting paid $53,000 a year, and I was working about 90 hours a week.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Well, can I ask you a question?
Yeah. No, you cannot. It's your podcast. You can't ask me a question.
No, I'm because my mind is boggling right now, and it's like, what was your mindset? What was you going through? I know you was going through like ups and this is like a freaking roller coaster right now. Like, what was like? Give me like a short version. Like, what was you going through?
There is no long version though, Herc. Like at that point, you're just doing. You don't think about anything. You're just coaching.
Mm-hmm.
I got into powerlifting at that point. I was training at a very high level, and I was just doing.
Right.
There was no thinking. It wasn't until I was faced with like, yo, I can't do this anymore that I actually started thinking. I was like, okay, this is not serving me anymore.
Right.
And I was very forthcoming with the kids that I was working with, because for me, those relationships are the most important piece.
Right.
I looked them I had a meeting with all the team captains, and it's like, I'm in a position right now where I cannot give my best effort to you because I am not at my best. I have to step away. All of them understood. They were totally cool with it. In hindsight, I should have I should have advocated for myself with the administration, because everything that I complained about, they gave to the next guy, which is unfortunate. But again, everything happens for a reason, and I wouldn't be where I am now if I had stayed in that position. So when I left Queens, I decided I wanted to start like a personal training business. Little did I know I hate personal training.
What's your reason for hating personal training? Everybody's picky, huh?
And not everybody's picky. You end up being, and this is, I now know that this is, again, my fault because of my positioning within the market and how I advertised for it and who I was training. But the type of person that I was training wasn't the type of person that I really enjoy working with. So at that point I said, okay, I need to do something else. I got a job as a consultant for a disability insurance company, helping people get back to work. And it was during that time when I started coaching online more. I'd always had a few clients remotely because as a strength coach, you're always looking to make a little bit extra money. And now I was in a position where I started making it a business. And I worked for this insurance company for 6 years. And during that time, it was really cool because it was a work from home position.
Right.
So 4 p.m., close the laptop, and done for the day.
You'll roll over in your bed, just go to sleep.
Yeah, well,
that's what's up.
I would go to the gym and I would train. And at that point, I got more into powerlifting. I was competing at a very high level. My training partners, these are probably guys you've never heard of, but Jay Nira, who's the top 220 in the world at that point, was my training partner.
Yeah.
Cade Weber, who's the number 242 lifter in the world, is my training partner.
Wow.
Willie Albert was the top 181 in the world. That's my training partner. So I'm over there squatting 800 pounds. I'm the weakest guy in the gym.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. So
like you're just by their names, they're freaking strong. I was just like, what? I was like, but
these are OGs, man.
So, oh yeah, straight OGs.
At that point, I had built my roster over the 6 years to consistently about 50 to 60 clients while working full time. And I was making twice as much money online as I was in my full-time job. I looked at myself, I was like, you need to do this. You need to bet on yourself. You need to go in, you do the online thing full time. And that's when I got into the online space. Then about a year after that, I started mentoring other coaches, doing more education. And so it's like the next iteration of my passion is, I started off coaching college athletes. Then I started coaching powerlifters. Then I started coaching more Gen Pop people online. Now I start mentoring other coaches. Now I start educating other coaches. So it's really been just a progression of service, right? The service of others. And that's what lights my fire. That's my passion, helping others reach the highest level of potential for themselves. That's what gets me up in the morning.
And you haven't felt any burnout yet?
No. And that was one of the things, like when you start listening to yourself and you start realizing who you are, what you love, what motivates you, there's nothing in my schedule that I look at and say, ugh, right? Like every meeting in my day, I'm pumped to talk to that person. I now, my wife works with us now. She's the co-owner of our company. We have 5 other coaches that work with us. So everything that I do I'm super excited about.
Right.
So there's no burnout there. I also am very clear about these are my boundaries. This is how much I'm going to work. I don't take on more than I can handle. And I've learned what that is over time. But I step away before I have those feelings anymore. Like last weekend I traveled. This weekend we're driving to Canada. Next week I'm traveling again. So it's a lot of travel. So I'm gonna take some time off work.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna take some time off
and just be with you and your wife.
Yep, be with me and my wife, and then when it's time to get back to work, I just go back to doing what I do.
Holy crap, man! That's I know you told me a little bit at a time at the gym, but from the start, you've been like hustling and bustling, like from the start.
Yeah.
You was an intern, not getting paid or anything, and you just like, I want to be the best, personal trainer or the best,
strength coach.
Yeah, strength coach and everything else. And you just went with it. You just jumped off. You just took the risk. You just jumped off and you took that chance. Even though you knew the consequences and you knew what was at stake, you was like, I'm gonna do this anyway.
What's the worst case? You're broke? I was broke anyway.
Everybody was broke at that time.
Everybody's broke.
Everybody was broke at that time. But And no, I just like that tenacity, man. It's just like you found a passion back then, you know, being a strength conditioning coach. You was like, man, I want to be this. I want to be this. And you took it.
Yeah.
And then things didn't plan out as you wanted because they working you like a dog. Well, that's understandable. That's what I deal with in the plants, but whatever. But no, but you found another passion and you know, just being a servant to other people.
Yep.
And that's pretty dope. And I'm glad that you found that while you was going through that little delay process in your lifetime. And I'm happy that you found that.
Yeah, me too. And the way that I frame it now, having, you know, hindsight being 2020, I think people fear failure a lot.
That's everybody.
Yeah, but failure is not a thing. It's fake. There's no such thing as failure. I didn't fail. I pivoted. I just changed, right? I'm still serving people.
All right.
I'm just doing it in a different capacity. And the capacity that it's in right now is one that really serves me.
Right.
And if I had been worried about failure, I never would have taken the chance.
You wouldn't even be here.
And it's funny enough, you know, you mentioned your mom having an impact on your life earlier before we hopped on. It was my mom who gave me that advice. She was like, if there's one person in the world that you can bet on, it has to be you. I was like, whew.
Ooh, I felt that. I got goose. Hey,
That's heavy, Mom.
Yeah. Shout outs to Mom.
Yeah. Shout out Susan.
Holy, I felt that.
Yeah, and I did it like the next day. After I had that conversation with her, the next day I emailed my boss. I was like, you know, I know you're giving me a promotion. I know that, you know, all these good things are happening for me in this company. Can't do it.
Wow.
And
that took some guts.
It did. But again, what's the worst case? I'm broke and I have to get a job again. That's the thing. Like, I'm bilingual. I have 2 master's degrees.
Yeah.
I can get another job.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Worst case, I go work at Starbucks. Like, and I don't have an ego with that. Like, if I have to do these things to earn a living, I'll do them.
Yeah.
But I know that I have more in me to give.
Damn.
You know?
Yeah, man. That's holy crap. This is a good episode. I'm like, holy crap. My mind is like, yeah, man.
But here's another thing too, though.
What
Like,
you got?
when I made these decisions, like, I wasn't married. I didn't have kids. You know, I was married in the past and I got divorced. But had I had that relationship that wasn't supportive, I don't know if I would have been able to make those choices to prioritize my dreams.
Damn.
Now I'm in a situation where, you know, my wife, who's truly the catalyst to so much positivity in my life.
Yeah.
I feel like I could make whatever decision I wanted to you know, build myself up and pursue my dreams, and I would have full support to do that. I know I would have full support to do that because I've done it.
Yeah, she's in your corner.
She's in my corner. And, you know, that
sounds like my wife, man. God damn.
Listen, people really don't understand how powerful a good relationship can be on your ability to grow. The person you're going to spend the rest of your life with, that's the person you're building your life with. Think about that. Like, you're building a life with this person.
Yeah.
If they don't have the same values as you, if they don't have the same commitment to growth that you do, you're just going to resent them in the long run.
Wow. Holy crap. Yeah. Damn. How long you been married?
We've only been married. We got married July 7th, I think. So, our actual wedding ceremony was January 3rd. Of this year.
So you just got married?
Yeah. I was divorced in 2020, and then I met my wife in 2021.
I feel like I'm talking to myself right now. I'm not. I'm no jokes aside. I feel like I'm talking to myself because I feel like we kind of walked the same path because I did the same thing. Like, I broke up with my ex in 2020 and then found my wife in 2022. And we talked and everything, and we got married that same year.
That's awesome. Yeah,
we got married. We met in 2021. We talked and we dated and stuff, and then we got married in January 1st, 2022, and then it just went on from there. And then she's like my backbone too. Like, this podcast, I didn't want to start. I ain't gonna lie to you. And she's like, you need to start a podcast. You need to start a Man's Only podcast. And I had a dream, and I'm like, man, I'm not starting no podcast. No guys want to talk.
Dude,
And
guys do want to talk. They're scared to talk.
They're scared to talk, man.
They don't know how to talk.
Yeah. Or they're just scared to talk and just gonna call how we see it. And man, shout out to my listeners. You know, if you got a man out there or some guy friend that needs to talk, tell him about this podcast. Come on, man, podcast. But it just, my wife, she's been my whole supporter in like the powerlifting stuff. We kind of butted heads at the powerlifting because she said I spent too much time in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'll be in there 2-3 hours in the gym. Yeah. You know how powerlifting works. You know, you get the main lifts, you're tired of shit, and you still got to get accessories. And coach like, hey, you better get them accessories in, man. I'm like, fuck. You feel like you don't have enough time, but you get them in, you feel good, you come. I know, like, this is my passion. This is what I like to do. I like to do powerlifting. I want to get strong. I want to feel like I'm somebody. I already know I'm somebody, but I want to feel like I can do this too. Yep. But we had that little dilemma. She understood. She came to my first powerlifting meet and everything. She saw the people and she saw how much I lift. She was like, oh, now I understand what you do. Mm-hmm. You know, you just don't be in the gym just, you know, talking the shit, shooting the shit basically. Yep. And I said, no, it's a lot of work into powerlifting. You just don't, do one rep max and you be like, yeah, I'm strong. You know, that's not how it works. You have to give everything you got in powerlifting. And then she didn't understand and I had to break it down to her. And like, you just come to my meet. And she came. We went to South Padre Island. And that was my first meet with my new coach. And I did everything. I did good. Got first place. And she was like, wow, I didn't know you did all this and all this other stuff. And we came to terms and she respected me. I respected her. And then now she's like my assistant coach. That's awesome. make sure I get my shit right. You know,
my wife's a better athlete than me. So
shout outs to the wives, man. But going back to what you said, man, but like my wife supports me through thick and thin. Like she supports me with the podcast. She supports me on my YouTube. She supports me on my editing and stuff. Like whatever I want to do or whatever I feel like I need to do, as a father, she supports me. Like everything, I feel like I feel like it's not the best decision. She clears it up for me, and she says like, whatever you're doing is the right choice, and you're making a good decision, and it gives me clarity. I'm like, okay, I'm doing the right thing. I'm on the right path.
You're also not allowing those things to skirt responsibility elsewhere.
Right.
Like you're still a present father. You're still a supportive partner.
Yeah.
But you do need to have something that is uniquely your own, right? Like I know that when I am a father, that's going to be my main priorities. I'm going to be a father. Am I still going to train? Absolutely. Am I going to be competing? I don't know, but I'm in a different point in my life than you are. Right. So I already didn't know if I was going to be competing anymore ever because of all the injuries that I've racked up. Mm-hmm. But I am in a position where I can get back to the platform. So I'm going to take advantage. I've also done the thing, like I have competed at the highest level.
Right.
I've been top 10 in the world.
Dang.
So, at one point in 2016, I was top 20 in the world in the 220, or top 10 in the world actually in the 220 and 242 weight class. Mm-hmm. That's all time. So if anyone who'd ever done it, there's only 8 to 9 people stronger than me.
Right.
Now that's like 50 people stronger than me, but I still did it at a time. So I don't have anything to prove to anyone except myself with my competitions. That's
good.
So as long as I can compete and as long as I can continue to potentially do better than my best, I'm going to do it. But being a dad's going to be my main priority. And I know for you, you're not allowing powerlifting to get in the way of your son.
Right.
That's just ridiculous.
No, that is pretty ridiculous. And I don't let powerlifting get in the way of my marriage too. Mm-hmm. That's what she thought. She thought powerlifting was she thought.
It's funny, but it's not.
No, it's not funny. It's not funny. And hopefully she understands this when she listens to this. But she thought powerlifting was my new boo. She thought that was my new mate. I'm like, no. because I'm in the gym 3 hours. So she's like, "Oh, so you not gonna come home?" I'm like, "I'm coming home. I just got to get this training in."
Yeah.
And she thought she was in the how she say in the back burner, and powerlifting was my main focus. Like, oh, that's my new boo. We're married. I don't know who this woman is and things like that. And we fixed it, and she understands, and we're like, no, powerlifting is not my new boo. You're my wife. You're my boo. You're my mate. Powerlifting is just a thing I like to do.
Yeah, exactly.
It's once she finally understands, and she went to the first powerlifting meet, everything got cleared up. So
yeah, I'm very fortunate. Like my wife, like I said, my wife's a better athlete than me. She's, top 5 in Canada in powerlifting. She's also going to be an IFBB pro in the wellness division. So she's
doing her thing.
She's fucking crazy strong. Excuse my language.
No, you good. No, hey, you can cuss. Hey, shout outs to the wife. Shout outs to the wife.
So she understands when I'm doing the things that I'm doing. I mean, anyone who's dated or been with a bodybuilder before, I mean, when she's prepping, that's most of her day. She's working, or she's doing cardio, or she's posing, or she's training. I understand that, so there's no argument there.
And she understands what you're doing too.
So,
and I every time I see you at the gym, man, you look so freaking peaceful. Like you look like one of the monks at the Himalayas, man. You look like so peaceful. No, for real. Like every time you just look like, hey man, what's up, man? What's going on? I'm just deadlifting 800 pounds. Don't worry about that, man. I'm like, holy, why is he so calm right now?
Honestly, I don't
you look like you should take a picture when you like at the gym. You look peaceful, like you going through your body's going through hell right now because you lifting all this heavy weight. You're doing all these stretches and yoga poses and stuff, but your face is like your face is peaceful, and I was like, I don't know how to explain that. And I was gonna talk about it on here. I was like, man, this dude. Like you look at peace. I'm just gonna say it like that.
Yeah, I mean, training for me is an escape. It's a meditation of sorts, and I do get into that zone where I'm aggressive and tuned up.
Right.
But you can't live there. I spent years of my life living there.
Right.
I remember, and it's unfortunate that my best performances came when I wasn't peaceful. But now that I am, and I'm in a position where I love what I do, why do I have to be worried about anything? What do I have to stress about in the gym? Even like, I have a bad lift, bad day, whatever.
Yeah.
I got 4 other lifts that week.
Yeah.
I'll make it up. Everything's in it for the long haul. As long as I'm in the gym and training, I'm happy.
Right.
I think a lot about happiness, and spending most of my day working in front of a laptop by myself in my office. I mean, I get a lot of time to think, and happiness is something that I lived a lot of my life not understanding what happiness was. So the way I look at happiness is if I'm working meaningfully towards a goal, then I'm happy. Right? Happiness is a journey. What that allows me to do is it allows me to detach from any outcomes. So if I say I'm going to compete in powerlifting, my only goal is just to be better than I was. And in order to be better than I was, I have to take these steps.
Right.
And as long as I'm taking those steps every day, I'm happy. So there's no reason why I shouldn't be happy in the gym. There's no reason why I shouldn't be happy when I'm prepping my meals or when I'm doing all these things, because that's what I want to do.
Right.
So, it's actually a big compliment for you to say that I look peaceful in the gym, because
you do.
I am.
Yeah, you are, man. I see you look like, I'm like, this man here, man. I like, man. I need that type of energy for real. But everybody they say I look like an asshole. Like I'm not approachable. I'm in my zone too, but I'm like, especially on deadlifts, like I'll be aggressive. Like, man, I gotta get these deadlifts. I'm by myself. I'm solo dolo. But it all depends.
I think it's a physical presence thing. Like, this is an audio only podcast. So I'm not sure if any of the listeners actually know that you're like 6'3", 350. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I get that a lot. People are like, man, like my homeboy, Leon Hawk, shout out to Leon. He was like, man, he was like, man, Herc, you're not no average dude, bro. You're like 350 pounds.
How much do you weigh?
I weigh 365.
Yeah, that's what I thought. built like a D tackle.
Yeah, man. And you know, and I'll be at work and people be like, "Holy crap, man! What the? Oh, you work here?" Like, yeah, I work here. I work on the plants. I'm a boilermaker, and I'm moving pipe, bolting up, and all this other stuff. I do hard labor work, but I'm at peace at work too. But I learned how to, you know, embrace the suck, but in a peaceful manner, if that makes sense.
Well, it's a journey.
Yeah, it's a journey. So it's like, I talked to my wife about it. I'm like, why would I go to work mad? Like, wake up and like, oh, I gotta go to work and blah blah blah, and I don't want to be here. I'm gonna call in, and they'll start showing up late and things like that. And it's like, what's the point of that? Same thing with powerlifting. Why would I? I know it's gonna suck. I know I don't want to go to the gym, but like, if I want to continue to be healthy, continue to be strong and do what I love, I have to show up to the gym. Even if I don't like it, I still got to show up. But, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, like, the thought that you're going to enjoy every aspect of a journey is a bit naive.
Yeah.
Right? Anything worth having takes struggle, takes adversity.
Yeah.
And that's going to mandate that you do hard things. And hard things are not always fun.
No.
I mean, this is something that I run into with a lot of people because I speak to a lot of coaches or a lot of people who want to be coaches. They're like, oh, I'm doing this job and I hate my job, or I don't like my job and I want to coach. I was like, okay, understand that if you make your passion your job, that places a lot of pressure on your passion. So I look at someone like yourself who's obviously very passionate about powerlifting, but you work a blue collar job.
Right.
I'm sure you're not passionate about being a Boilermaker.
Not at all. That's just a job to pay the bills.
It's a job that pays the bills. I'm sure that you are at peace with the fact that you get to be in your own thoughts and working with your hands, and it's quite a quiet place in terms of what's going on in your head. And I'm sure that's something you really value, but it's hard work.
Yeah.
Now, you need the outlet of training because that is another place where you can be at peace. You can focus on yourself. What people miss is that now that quote unquote training is my job or training others is my job, some people lose the passion that they have for their passion. They lose their passion because it becomes their job.
Wow.
And to me, I just look at it as just another thing. Like, it's not, my passion is personal growth. Like, me building a better version of myself.
Right.
That's training.
So that's awesome. So if you was to give advice, or give advice to a group of men that feel like they lost their passion and they trying to find it back, what would you like? What would you give them? Like, what type of advice you would give them?
Try new things. I would say to try new things. Like, the number of people that I know who, picked up an instrument, started trying to play an instrument, or, even, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily advocate for this, but some people really like playing video games.
Right.
If playing video games makes you happy and it's a way to be in your own head and kind of chilling and relaxing, cool, go ahead, do it. But a passion, how do I say this properly? I look at passion as gasoline. So if you have something that you love, you don't need passion to do it. Okay. So I love training.
Okay.
I don't need to be passionate every time I'm in the gym because I love training. Do I dial into some passion when I'm going for a heavy double or a heavy triple? Yeah, for sure. Because I want to pour gasoline on that fire.
Oh, okay.
Now, if you're thinking about finding your passion, the only way to do that is to act, to do. And then that passion will kind of show through. So if you've never been passionate about something in your life, well, trying to find it is kind of a fruitless endeavor. You have to make it.
Really?
You have to go out and try things. You have to go out and do new things. Because if you've never found passion, well, you're going to have to make it.
Okay.
Maybe it's not playing an instrument. Maybe it's building something, right? Maybe it's like, I know a good friend of mine, he's a strength coach in the military. He started to find that he wasn't as passionate about something that he loved anymore. He wasn't as passionate about his own training. He still loved training. He still loved helping others, but he wasn't as passionate about his own training. So doing something that he loved became harder and harder and harder.
Mm.
So he started doing woodwork. He started making art out of wood.
Right.
And he was in love with it. He would relish in the opportunity to come home and work on some stuff in his workshop. You know, he'd wake up early and do some work before work, and it made him better in all the aspects of his life. I actually have a piece of his art in my house right now. And,
Okay.
and it just brings up the point, like, your passion and what you do don't always have to be the same thing.
Mm.
So, I mean, you have a passion around training. It's something that you love. It's something that you don't always have to have gasoline on the fire to do,
Right.
but you have that gasoline when you need it.
Right.
I'm sure there are days when he's working on a project, like a woodworking project, that he is not passionate about it, but he loves doing it.
Right.
So when he is working towards a deadline or delivering a product to somebody, well, he can turn on that passion and kind of fuel that fire.
Right.
So that's the way I look at passion. If you want to find your passion, go do stuff. Go make your passion.
Mm. Appreciate that. And like, I know it's still relating to the passion part. Like, I know if people find their passion and they're doing it, and like, how do they prevent themselves to severe burnout and stuff like that?
I think burnout is something that happens when you lose sight of why you're doing what you're doing. Right?
Yeah.
So when even though I loved coaching, I did go through a burnout from it.
Yeah.
Because I lost sight of why I was doing it. And in fact, at the time, I didn't really know why I was doing it. Truth be told, because I was always doing. I never thought about why. But when I stopped and I had the time to think about the why, now everything became so much easier. So taking some time to yourself to understand, like, why you're doing the things that you're doing, what's incentivizing you to move forward and to continue pursuing those endeavors. I think we run into, and I think a lot of people who run into burnout succumb to the sunk cost fallacy. Have you ever heard of this?
Mm-mm.
So sunk cost is essentially like, you don't give up on something because of what you've already invested into it.
Right.
It's like someone who starts a project to restore a car, and they buy the car, they start investing in parts, and they're like, ugh, I don't want to do this anymore, but I've already spent all this money. I got to finish it.
Damn, that sounds familiar.
That's a sunk cost fallacy.
Hmm.
There's nothing stopping you from selling the car for parts and moving on to the next project,
Right.
except your own limiting beliefs. So when you get into that point where you don't love what you're doing anymore, but you keep doing it and you don't understand why you're doing it, that's when you're going to have burnout.
Wow. Holy smokes. Paul, man.
Listen, I think a lot. I've also been to a lot of therapy. So
No, yeah, man. Hey, therapy is key, man. Hey, if y'all going through things, listeners, hey, therapy is okay. Go to therapy.
It's the best.
That's the best, man. I'm telling you.
I've been in therapy. Well, I went to therapy about 10 years ago, and then took a few years off. When I was going through my divorce, I started going to therapy again. Started off twice a week. Then it was once a week. Then it was once every couple weeks. Now it's once a month, and I've been going once a month for the last 2-3 years. And
Hell yeah.
I look at it as like brushing my emotional teeth.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. Yeah, we went through therapy for a marital counseling. Mm-hmm. I think that's how you said it. It was. I ain't gonna lie, it was kind of weird.
It's probably hard.
No, it was hard. It was hard before we got married. And we went to the church, and we went to the pastor was the counselor, and he was like, "How do you feel about marriage? How do you feel about the new chapter in your life?" I'm like, man, it's just life. Yeah. I'm just nonchalant about it. I wasn't into it until he started asking me questions like, why are you so patient? Why are you so this? Why are you so that? Like, do you even care? Or like, no, I do care. I just don't show a lot of emotion. I don't burn it. My biggest thing is energy. I don't burn a lot of energy. I burn a lot of energy on a lot of stuff like work and being a husband and a father and powerlifting and all the things I like to do. But when it comes to energy, like anything like retarded, like somewhere I don't need to be, I just kind of like, you can tell like something's about to go down and something stupid is about to go down, and you don't need to be a part of it. That's where I kind of am with energy. It's like I kind of assess the situation. Like, do I need to spend a lot of energy on this argument or this drama, or can I just stay quiet and go do my thing, play the video game, and let myself cool off a little bit before we get into the next discussion, or there's different ways how I channel my energy.
Yeah, it's different communication strategies, different like ways to emotionally regulate yourself. And if you're someone who is, let's say, like fiery, well, I think a very positive thing, especially when dealing with a romantic relationship, a marriage, if you're someone who's driven by emotion and you get emotionally charged, yeah, taking a time to step back, calm yourself down so you can look at it objectively and then have a conversation, super valuable.
But sometimes, not to cut you off, no, but sometimes you got a partner that doesn't let you go cool off. They want you to be in that fire like right now. And that's kind of hard to do. I was in that dilemma where I had, got in some arguments with my ex and blah, blah, blah. And I'll try to go cool off. I got to go do something else. Go read a book, go walk in the park, do something just to cool off so I can reprocess my thoughts and cool myself off and then come back into the conversation. And she was like, "Nah, you need to be here, blah, 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 blah." I'm like, and that was building anxiety, that was building depression, that was building resentment, that was building anger, that was building like a lot of shit that I didn't think it was gonna build, but it did. And I resent her. I was like, it got so bad now to this day. Like if I see her in public, I get like pissed off. And that's a bad, but I
get that, but at the same time, like I like to put myself in other people's shoes. Like I very much look at the way I look at myself and my actions. It's almost like a third party. Like I'm looking at myself from above. So it's myself observing myself. And I'm a big communicator. So whenever I'm in a situation where I feel emotionally charged, I need to step away. I'll literally say, "Hey, any conversation that we have right now is not going to be productive. I need some time to calm down so that we can have a conversation." If you're not willing to do that and allow me that space, that's a problem, because then we're not going to be productive.
No.
I've gotten to a point where like I don't get emotionally charged anymore. I don't have those I don't succumb to those impulses of emotional behaviors. So it makes it a lot easier for me to have meaningful conversations, even in the moment. My wife's not the same. She needs to calm down before she needs to process her emotions before she talks about them. So I just hold space for that. Even though I would much rather talk about it right now. Right. I let her know. I'm like, "Hey, you take your time. You let me know when you're ready to have a conversation about this, and then we move on." I remember there's actually a funny story. So
Go ahead.
There was a point relatively early on in our relationship. I was going through the divorce process with my ex, so we were communicating on a regular basis. I don't have any ill will towards my ex. She's not a bad person. Terrible wife, not a bad person. And my wife didn't like that I was still Facebook friends and following each other on Instagram. She's like, "I don't like it." I said, "Okay, can you tell me why?" She's like, "I find it's disrespectful to me." I said, "Okay, I don't see it like that, but I also don't care about this other person in any meaningful capacity.
Yeah.
So I'm going to unfollow her and I'm going to unfriend her on Facebook. I don't need to remain in contact with her. I wish her well, but I don't need to stay in contact with her." Liv got so mad. She was like, "What? Why are you not fighting with me about this?" I'm like, "'Cause you're right."
Right.
"'Cause you're right." And she was like mad that I wouldn't fight with her. So
what?
I know. And I went into her office. I was like, "Hey babe, like, I hope you get used to conversations like this, because I want to have a meaningful relationship with you.
All right.
And I'm fine to admit when I'm wrong, and I'm fine to admit that I don't have all the answers."
Yeah.
And she got it. And she was very grateful for that conversation. But in the moment, she was just so mad that I wouldn't fight with her, because she's so used to having these emotionally charged conversations,
having these battles
where I was just like, nothing that we do together is going to be a battle.
No.
It's going to be a team. It's going to be a team effort.
Yeah, we're gonna sit down and discuss things. We're not just gonna fight chess match type things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talk about everything. I firmly believe that in any relationship, whether it's your wife or whether it's your buddy, whether it's your family, anything that you leave unsaid is a decision to resent that person later.
Damn.
So you have to be fully honest with what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And what you're saying has to be aligned with your behaviors. Right. So if I would have said, yeah, you know what, I'm going to unfriend her, whatever, and then I didn't, that's a problem.
Right.
Right. But my behaviors were in alignment with my words. And, it just fortified our relationship that we could have that type of meaningful conversation.
Damn.
And even in my conversations with clients, even in my conversations with friends, I'm very, very honest with what I'm feeling, how I feel about their behaviors. I'm going to have a really hard conversation with one of my friends in the near future because I don't feel that he's being respectful of our relationship.
Mm.
And it's something that I've told him in the past, but it's become more and more common.
Yeah.
So it's a conversation we're going to have. But hey, man, come on, man.
Yeah.
This isn't how we need to be. This isn't how the way I like to be treated.
Yeah.
And it's a drain on my energy.
Ooh.
And if you're going to keep draining my energy, I don't think we can be friends anymore. Same with you. I don't have the patience for the bullshit.
Man, you give me goosebumps, man. God damn, man. Holy crap, man. Man, shout out, kudos to Paul, man. Kudos to Paul. This man is a lyricist. How you say it? Lyricist?
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
man.
I'll take it.
Man, you're bang. You smooth jazz as Paul over here, man.
Well, okay. So like if you constantly give your energy to these, draining relationships, you got nothing left over for what's meaningful.
Yeah.
And that does lead you to a position where life's pretty lonely sometimes.
Yes, it is.
Because if you only cultivate relationships with people that are willing to give at the level that you are, unfortunately, that's very few people in this world.
That's hard. That's hard to find.
That's one of the reasons why I continue to go to therapy. Do I need to go to therapy anymore? No, I'm pretty good. But in my life, in the position that I hold, there's very few people, aside from my wife, who I can have an unbiased conversation with where I am not the person in charge, right? So a lot of the friends that I have, I'm the big brother. Even my brother, I'm the big brother. My father, he's a first-generation immigrant to Canada. It's a different mindset being an immigrant. Like he went through a civil war as a kid. He doesn't have the same level of emotional intelligence that I do. So even though he's my dad, he doesn't necessarily relate to me on the same level. So I can't have these conversations with him, but I can have them with a therapist. So I go and I have them with a therapist. She tells me that I'm not crazy. And then I go on with my day.
That's good. That's good.
So I have very few people in my life. Like it was actually very hard for me to even pick groomsmen for my wedding.
Damn.
Because I don't have that type of close, equal relationship with many men in my life.
Holy crap.
And that's not good or bad. It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And those four people are so valuable to me. I'll take those friendships over any surface level conversation any day.
That's what's up, man. Man, we eloped on our wedding.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, did you do anything like crazy, like go away or something?
No, we didn't do nothing crazy, man. We went to downtown. We went to some park. I forgot the name of it. We was in the park. We purchased a photographer and a person who signs the deed or whatever.
Yeah. The deed.
The
license?
Yeah, the license. And that was it. The lady, did the ceremony like right there. Says, hey, do you love him? Do you love her? Okay, kiss, and y'all married. And she signed the papers. Y'all married, and took a couple of pictures. And we went to Lake Charles. We went to my house in Lake Charles, and my family was out there.
Awesome.
And we was just chilling. And say, what y'all do? What y'all do? I'm like, well, we got married. They was like, oh, y'all got married. Y'all ain't tell us. And it was cool.
Were your parents mad?
Yeah. My mom was mad. She was pissed off. She's like,
killed me.
She said, "Why you didn't tell me? Why you didn't tell me you was getting married?" I was like, "It was basically a decision we both decided because we was like, oh, we should do like a grand wedding and things like that." And I'm not big on weddings. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't like weddings like that. I feel like it's a waste of money. But that's another time for another episode. But whatever. Yeah, I just told her, I said, I don't feel like doing no big weddings. I just want us to have an intimate relationship with one another and get married just for us.
Yeah.
And she said, I'm down for that. And we eloped. We got the person, the photographer, and then that was it. And then we signed the papers, the deeds, the certificate, and here we are for 2 years.
Yeah, we did our actual wedding in July was at the courthouse. We just went to the courthouse. We got married. My parents were there. Her mom was there. Her sister was there, I believe. My grandparents were there.
Oh,
and so we just got I think it was 10 people total.
Shout out to grandparents.
Oh, they're awesome.
Yeah.
So we did that, and then our actual ceremony, we did a destination wedding. We went to Jamaica.
What?
Yeah.
Same day?
No.
Oh, I'm about to say, damn.
We did that. We did the courthouse in July.
Okay.
Funny enough, just because Liv needed a new passport. So she's like, I don't want to have to change my name twice. So let's just get married. I was like, okay, cool. I'm in. Sign me up.
Yeah.
And then we did a destination wedding in Jamaica, January 3rd.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That sounds badass. We haven't done our destination wedding. She talked about she want to go to Canada.
Ugh.
I was like, I'm down because she saw me pictures like, look, babe, look, Canada's so beautiful. It's snow everywhere. I'm like, that's what's up.
Have you ever seen snow?
In person, a little bit in Houston, but not like that.
If you're gonna go to Canada, let me know. I'll tell you where to go, where not to go. There's some very pretty areas, especially on the West Coast where I used to live in Calgary.
Yeah.
You're right by the mountains.
Damn.
Like when you're driving into the mountains, it looks like a painting.
Oh,
it's so beautiful.
Okay, we don't have to check that out.
But where we are, there's some lakes. I mean,
it's just like how you said it. Like, Canada. I was like,
I'm kind of jaded. I mean, not to get political, Canada is not necessarily the place that I'm super stoked about living right
now. Man, how people freaking talk about Canada over here? They're like, man, Canada's the best, man. It's like, man, it looks beautiful. It's beautiful. No, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's beautiful. I got like all the best athletes that comes out of Canada and things like that in the sports world.
Sometimes, but like, so people will talk about Canada being awesome. It's like, oh, they have free healthcare.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, my tax rate's 53%.
What?
Exactly.
Holy
That's
crap.
Not free, bro.
What?
Yeah.
Holy crap. Why? Why is it that high?
Because of free healthcare. It's
God.
It's definitely, there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes too. Like they're censoring a lot of our media. They're, there's a carbon tax. So you have to pay a tax on your gas already. I drive a V8 truck. So, I mean, it's not like I'm cheap. And I think conversion rate, we're paying like $7 a gallon for gas. Mm-hmm. So like it's an expensive place to live.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to run a small business, it's really challenging to grow a small business.
In Canada.
Yeah. So we have an election coming up. And I think if the current government gets reelected, we're probably going to move to the U.S.
Damn, is that bad?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
You sound like my main country, my Honduras. My mom be telling me about the politics out there. She said politics is jacked up out there. Like the dictator of Honduras is like trying to rule the people and trying to make them suffer, take their money and food and shit like that. I'm like, damn. I said, man, we go out there. It feel like it's a ball. Like we doing our thing, but I don't pay attention to the news out there. She does, and she tells me, and I'm like,
I think in Canada and the U.S., I don't believe that people understand how truly good we have it. I mean, even going to Jamaica, like you think of Jamaica, you think white sand beaches, you think blue ocean, you think beautiful, but to drive to those resorts, you're driving through like. It looks like the place is bombed out.
Damn.
So there's a lot of poverty in a lot of these places. And I mean, in Canada, Canada be like, oh man, I was in such a bad neighborhood. I'm like, the ghetto in Canada is like a house that needs to be painted. Okay.
Okay. For real?
For real. Like there's no poverty in Canada. There's people that are not doing well, but there's no poverty, which is great. But there's also very little, like there's a massive middle class.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in the US, the middle class is very small.
Mm.
You have people on both extremes. You have people who are very wealthy. You have people who are struggling, living paycheck to paycheck, or even living in mountains of debt.
Mm.
So that's always probably the biggest culture shock for me whenever I come to the US is the discrepancy between those who have and those who don't.
Damn.
But in Canada, there's a massive middle class. There's very few people who are wealthy, very few people who are very poor.
Oh, damn. I didn't know it was that deep like that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Man, speaking of being a business owner, like how's your mindset? How's your mindset of being a business owner at this time and age right now?
I love it. I mean, I look at it as there's unlimited opportunity because my success is hinged on my effort, and the industry that we're in is continuously growing. Right, health and fitness is bigger than ever.
Yeah.
So, as long as I have a good eye on where we're trying to go, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. And I've got some great people. Our team is stacked. Like my wife is a phenomenal coach. Our other 5 coaches are phenomenal people, phenomenal coaches. I also have the ability with my skill set to teach them how to do things the right way and help them build their rosters. I also have multiple revenue verticals. I have the ability to coach people one-on-one. I have the ability to mentor other coaches. I also have a platform where I educate and I provide courses.
Right.
So I'm doing a lot of different things, and I have the ability to, if one vertical is low, I can pump into the other one, or I could start a new vertical. I could start doing something new.
Right.
We're actually going to be doing something new when we get back to Canada and settled in. Once Liv is done competing in Q3, Q4, we're actually getting into some corporate health and wellness. So there's a tremendous opportunity for us to continue to make more money and pivot and do different things.
Yeah.
You just got to go with where the market takes you.
Okay.
And I would much rather be in the position now where, my effort puts food on the table rather than putting the food on the table for somebody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, I love doing my own thing. I've never been good at working for other people. Even when I was working for the insurance company, the only reason I was able to stay there for 6 years is because my boss was like, hey, this is how you do your job. Go do it. Like, cool, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to follow all the rules, but I'm going to do it my way.
Yeah.
I was the best performer in the country doing what I was doing.
Yeah.
And
it
was easy.
that's what I do at my job at the plants, man. I just follow the rules. I do my thing, and I work hard. Yep. I think my hard work, speaks for itself. Mm-hmm. And shit, everybody loves me at my job. They can't wait till I come in. I'm like, man, I'm not that special. I just come in, do my job, turn wrenches, and call it a day.
Listen, some of the most special people I've ever met don't believe that they're special.
Yeah, and I told my boss, and we're cool. I told her, say, hey, I'm not working for Turner. Oh well, yeah, that's.
Well, it's said. Now.
It's said. I'll say I'm not working for Turner. I'm working for myself. Basically, I told myself I'm an entrepreneur in the construction world while working for a company.
For sure.
So I kind of changed my mindset to not feel like I'm working for a company, but I'm actually working for myself because I know I got other things I like to do on the outside, which is my passion projects, so the podcast and the YouTubing and video recording. I got a camera and stuff and photography. I just told her, like, hey, I'm not working for the company. I'm working for myself, man. Because I'm not about to bust my people like, hey, because they already know I'm strong because I'm a powerlifter. Like, hey man, move this 24-inch pipe here. I'm like, I'm not moving. I'm not about to break my back for y'all.
Yeah, it's not part of my job. You show me on this contract where I'm supposed to move this pipe.
Yeah.
If you can't do that, I'm going to keep turning my wrenches.
Yeah, I'm going to keep turning my wrenches or find me a forklift and I can move it and do what I need to do. But I'm not about to use my human strength just to move to impress y'all. Then I break my back. And then I'm like, oh, dad, you should have never done that. I'm like kind of shit, but no, man, I changed my perspective on a lot of things because I used to hate work. I used to be immature in a lot of things and irresponsible in a lot of things. And I couldn't be consistent to save my life in a lot of things. You know, like how I am in the gym now, being super consistent and, you know, my numbers are going up each week. I wasn't like that like a few years back. So I had to work up to that. And I had little issues and delays in my journey of life that kind of like, hey, you literally have to get your shit together because where the route you're going is not taking you where you need to be. So I had like an epiphany moment. That's how you call it, an epiphany. Yeah, I had an epiphany moment. Like, hey, keep going down this route, and you're gonna be ended up here. Or you can change it, actually take shit serious, get your shit together, be responsible, be dedicated, be disciplined, and embrace the suck. And you can be at this level right here, and that's where I'm at. And I just take it with a grain of salt, and basically just kind of let myself like, hey, I'm like, I already know it's hard. I already know I got to put in the work. I know I got to put in some efforts. There's going to be some days I'm not going to be at 100%. And that's understandable. That's a part of the process.
Absolutely.
That's a part of the process. And it's been working well because I know I'm not going to win everything. I know I'm going to take some losses. I'm going to have some draws. And, you know, and it's just everything is a part of the process. And I have to, and I think that's what's more valuable in my life that I appreciate the most.
Well, you learn the most through losses, right? You think of any champion.
Yeah.
They've all lost.
Oh, yeah.
There's no one that goes through life undefeated. Like, you know, I think the only person that comes to mind who's quote unquote undefeated is John Jones. John Jones, perfect record.
Yeah.
John Jones getting kicked in the teeth outside the octagon. Like in life, that dude is messed up.
Right.
Dealing with addiction problems and different. So he's taking his L's.
Yeah.
We all take L's.
Oh yeah.
And that's how you learn. That's how you collect data. Okay, what do I not do next time?
Yes. Yeah. No, but man, I see like a lot of people on social media try to, you know, cover up their losses, and you see them accounts. Oh, yeah. You see them accounts. They look like they're winning every day. That's on me, listeners. I'm sorry. I should have. God dang it.
Oh, is that one of those Amber Alerts?
Yeah. Someone abducting kids again. God damn it.
There's so many kids getting abducted here. I get one of those a week.
Yeah, man. It's every day for me. God damn. I don't know what's going on.
I never get those in Canada. Maybe that's why you want to come to Canada. Nobody's getting abducted in Canada.
Yeah, sorry about that, listeners. Sorry about that, Paul.
Sorry.
Man, God dang it. I should have put it on Do Not Disturb, but that's my fault. I'll take that L.
There you go.
Yeah, on that one.
Learn.
What I was saying? Oh, yeah. But yeah, everybody takes losses, and I learned that you know, how you say in the powerlifting world, I don't focus on the big lifters. I don't focus on the numbers. I don't focus on like whatever. Like how you said earlier, like you only focus on you. That's how I am. I only focus on me. If I'm getting stronger, I don't worry about like the big names. Like, oh, I gotta compete with this person, or I gotta compete with that person. That's stressful as hell.
You're competing with you.
Yeah, I'm competing with me, and I'm making sure I'm getting strong. I may not be a top elite lifter and lifting 1,000 pounds or whatever, things like that.
Pretty close.
But, you know, I humble myself, and I'm like, hey, I'm putting good, honest work. In everything that I do, there's going to be days I'm going to have my energy low is going to be trash. And I have to go through the motions.
Yep.
I'm going to have to go through the motions. Even if I'm just doing the bar, I got to do something.
Yep.
But the next time I come in here, it's going to be a little bit better. But You know, I learned the process of self-care,
Mm-hmm.
you know, deep tissue massages, ice baths, chiropractor.
They make ice baths big enough for you?
Yeah. Yeah, they do, man. They do, man. And it's everything. I've been learning my body, you know, learning to like, hey, I pushed to the limit. I gotta chill out, take a break. This is my off day today, so I gotta chill out.
Same.
And and then like you said, have the duct tape the duct tape ready to go. You know,
Oof, I gotta make it like a pallet full of duct tape.
but no, man, I learned a lot. I learned a lot during my journeys of life, not just with powerlifting, but with everything that I've been through. I learned a lot, and it helped me shape and grow the man that I am today.
Absolutely.
And I love it, man. I love, you know, being a great father, being a great powerlifter, being a great podcaster, being a great husband. Just let her know because she's gonna be listening. Oh, we got it. You know, and I just like being myself.
100%.
100%. And you know, I like everything that I do. Love my job in a weird way, but it's just everything I touch and everything everywhere I go. You know, I make a presence, even if I don't try to make a presence.
I think positive energy is something that's really underrated and undervalued.
Yeah.
Like if you show up and you're just a generally, you know who I'll reference here is Solomon from the gym. Dude, Solomon, the guy who works at the front.
Yeah, man, I just had him on the episode.
Dude, he is one of the most positive people I've ever met in my whole life. Because I go train in the morning usually.
Yeah.
Every day, big smile on his face. Hey, what's up, man? What are you training today? You know, super just genuinely happy about where he is, what he's doing. And that's contagious.
Yeah.
So if you show up, you know, you mentioned, you know, I'm very peaceful in the gym. Some people take that as being that I'm standoffish, right? Because I don't have a smile on my face all the time. I'm just there.
Yeah.
But when you put positivity out into the world, you will always get it back.
Oh yeah.
Always. It's those times when you are maybe in a negative headspace or when you're having these, you know, less than positive thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
That's when stuff just doesn't go your way. So if you can approach things with a positive mindset, I think there's, not to sound like super spiritual or whatever,
no, you good, man.
Definitely just it just comes back for full circle.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that's how I look at it. That's how I look at it. It comes full circle. I stay positive, even sometimes I'm not always positive, but I don't show it. I don't I don't let my emotions show to the people who's around me.
Well, because it's not theirs, right?
Yeah.
You know, if you're in a bad mood, you don't have to put it on other people.
No, or put it on social media. I let my wife know, like, hey, I'm feeling like this, blah, blah, blah. And she asked me, why you feel like this? Because, like, this earlier, before when I was setting up, I had like a split second of I don't care.
Mm.
And I broke my headphones. The headphones you're wearing right now, I had another set, but I just broke them. I literally dropped them, and
oh no!
And I was like, crap. They were cheap. They were super cheap. They just broke, you know. It was like a small fall, and they broke. And I was like, damn, why did I like what the hell? And I was like kind of mad at myself. So like, she's like, what happened? Like I broke my headphones, and I had like a split second, like I don't care mode, or like I don't want to do this. And she's like, no, you do want to do this. You have to fight that. You have to fight that battle.
Totally.
And you have to, you know, keep on staying positive. It was just like a split second. My hands just like gave out. But I regrouped. I listened, put on some lo-fi chill beats. Mm-hmm. We talked for a little bit. I, you know, cracked some jokes, and then I was in a better mood. And I was like, no, I can't feed into that.
For sure.
You know, sometimes they want to try to feed itself.
Mm-hmm.
The negativity, and you gotta like cut that off. Like, you know, I'm not gonna let you do that
for sure.
You know, but no, you know, like you said, it's not the issues that we deal with as people or as human beings. You don't have to show it to other human beings.
No,
and people don't. They never see me mad at work. They never see me blow up. I get agitated, but I hold it in. I put my agitation or my anger into my work.
Well, because I have this conversation with a friend of mine very often because he puts his business onto social media, and I'm like, what is that solving? Right? Like, what is the outcome that you're looking to get? Is putting your anger or your thoughts onto social media, or even like into the public, whether it be on social media or whether it be like to someone in real life. It's like, oh, this is so shitty. It's like, all right, well, what are you going to do about it? Because telling me that it's shitty isn't going to make it not shitty. And when you put it onto social media, all you're doing is getting other people to say, yeah, that's shitty. But that doesn't solve the fact that it's shitty.
Right.
What change are you creating? So rather than waste your energy trying to look for other people to validate that things are shitty, why don't you just pick a way to fix the shittiness and go out and fix the shittiness?
I think a lot of people don't want to take responsibility to.
Oh, that's a whole other podcast.
They don't want to take responsibilities, man. Hey, listeners, if you having a shitty time or if you have a shitty mindset,
get to work.
Get to work and stay positive, man. This is it, Paul. Man, appreciate you coming on the podcast, man.
It's my pleasure.
We banged out a conversation, man.
Yeah, man.
It was flowing. Officers.
There you go.
We was out here tangoing, man. I tell you. So I like to finish off with you allowing you have the floor of giving positive affirmation to the listeners of anything good positive juice to help them get to the next step in life, or just whatever they going through. Just give them something positive that they I'm talking all fast that they can take away from this episode.
Well, kind of putting me on the spot, but I think the biggest thing of positive energy that I can put out into the world is that you yourself have the ability to create whatever life that you want to create. So I have a tattoo of Atlas on my arm. So it's Atlas holding up the world as a symbol for I create the world that I live in. So I'm the one in control. My actions have consequences, and I have to own those consequences. So if you're living a life that you don't enjoy, at some level, it's because of your own choices. So if you change your choices and you change the way that you're acting, you can completely reshape the world. I've done it. I've seen it done. I've helped other people do it, and you can do it too.
Yeah. Appreciate it, Paul.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it, man. Well, listeners, you heard it first. My man, Paul, man, giving some juicy positivity and affirmation. Yeah, man. Like he said, oh damn, I lost my train of thought. I'm having brain farts. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry,
right, dude.
I'm sorry.
It's late at night.
It is late at night.
Tired.
Yeah, we are tired and old at the same time.
That's true.
But nah, man. Well, listeners, appreciate y'all for being getting this far. Appreciate y'all ears. Appreciate y'all taking the time to listen. Paul, I appreciate you everything that you're doing, man. Whatever you're doing, keep it pushing.
Thank you.
I give you nothing but blessings for you, your family, your marriage, and your wife.
Thank you.
Y'all gonna have hella blessings, man, this year, and I thank God that we met.
Me too, man.
And I hope we somehow work together or whatever. I probably need to fill out an application to become a person.
Hey, man, I'm with you.
Yeah, man, we gonna have to work that out, man, for sure. But man, I thank everything that you do, man, and I respect you and I honor you as a man. Appreciate and everything that you do, man. You're doing great things.
Thank you.
And listeners, man, thank y'all for everything that y'all doing, and thank y'all for your ears. And just stay blessed, stay prayed up, stay being you. If you're dealing with any issues, man, you know where to come to the Come On Man podcast, because we're here for you. We love you and we miss you. And till next time, peace, love, and positivity. And we're out. Yes, sir.